going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. We're just a couple days out now from the Arnold Classic South America, and they did kind of a press conference there where a couple of the guys actually stripped down and started posing and showing their physiques. Now, one of those guys was GoodVito. Now, GoodVito only showed his legs here, which arguably is his freakiest and best body part. Because not only does he have really big legs, specifically really big quads, but they're really pretty crazy separated. Deep separation, vertical, and then he's got like the cross striations horizontally going across the vertical striations in his quads. He is a really freaky dude when it comes to his lower body. Now, I think a lot of people are excited to see GoodVito this weekend because this will be his pro debut, so we have no idea how he's going to do here. He could win the show. He could be dead last. It's going to be a total, dice roll. We really have never seen him next to guys of this caliber, so it's going to make the show really dynamic and exciting. And as you guys know, we've kind of been teased for months as to when we're going to get this pro debut. There were several shows he was unable to travel to, unable to compete, but he's here. He's at the press conference. He's posing with all the other guys. I'll show you guys a video later in this video of him next to, one of the guys that he's next to in this clip is Tonio Burton. I'll show you guys Tonio Burton's posing clip. So he's definitely competing. He's there. He's with the guys. He's checked in. He's doing the show for sure. Now, granted, like I said, his legs are kind of his trademark best body part. So when you see the clip of Tonio Burton, I think obviously Tonio's legs look a lot smaller and even less separated from the front. However, we still don't really know how GoodVito's upper body is going to look, because overall he is kind of a freak, not just his legs, but he's got a great upper body too. But he did have that major surgery, that abdominal hernia surgery, and that could throw off his upper body. And in fact, we did yesterday get a most muscular from GoodVito, kind of a weird side angle. And it's a good pose for him, and it's a different angle of the pose. His legs obviously look freaky, but we know that he's got a ton of upper body mass. I'm not sure what kind of condition his upper body is going to be in. In this one, you can see a little bit deeper striations in his pecs. His arms obviously really big. I think he's got a really dangerous front double bicep that maybe some of these guys won't be able to hang with. I think his triceps look better in this kind of side angle because when he was straight on from the front, I think his delts and his biceps kind of overwhelmed his triceps, but this is kind of a good angle for him. But while he looks big and freaky, I'm still kind of unsure about his conditioning just looking at this picture. We haven't seen him from the back. We haven't seen what his hamstrings look like. We haven't seen, if he's got a Christmas tree, if he's got striated glutes. And it's worth pointing out that he didn't show that at this little Posedown at the seminar part of the show either. So I'm kind of wondering about what kind of condition he's going to be in here because we don't really know. And if you look at his shoulders, you don't really see, like, striations in his shoulder. He doesn't have, like, really visible separation in the delts, and it could be the angle, but I don't know. And like I mentioned with the chest, there's like one or two striations, but it's not like overly, peeled. So I think we can expect big, I think we can expect freaky, but will GoodVito be in shape enough to win this show or do very well? I think he's likely going to do very well, but I don't know at this point if I think he's going to win. Now, let's look at Tonio Burton for a second, because like I said, Tonio Burton was also at this seminar doing some posing. And the thing about Tonio, really complete, really well filled out, well-proportioned bodybuilder. He's a shorter guy coming from 212, and I think he's got a very, very balanced physique. And I think that's what makes him dangerous. He's got really round 3D look to him, really crazy delts, round 3D chest, arms, but he's just very proportional. He's very symmetrical. And the way he's filled out his frame has made him kind of a guy where it's very difficult to pick apart his physique and find like a specific flaw because he does look so balanced. And like I've said kind of ad nauseum now, he is on paper the best bodybuilder in this lineup, the highest Olympia placer, and he's won the biggest show. I mean, you could argue the New York Pro is bigger than some of the shows that Raphael has won. But Tonio coming in with a fresh New York Pro victory from last year, an 8th place Olympia finish. He's the on-paper favorite. And like I've said many times, I know he's not the biggest name, he's not the most well-known guy, but I think he's going to be very dangerous here. And I know that after looking at GoodVito, showing off his legs, obviously Tonio's don't look as impressive in comparison, because that's GoodVito's like trademark body part. But when I talk about the balance and proportion of Tonio's physique, I don't know if GoodVito has that same balance. He's very bottom heavy with his legs, and it could be like a Big Ramy earlier in his career type of situation where his legs were almost too big. They threw off the flow of his physique. And maybe GoodVito's upper body, while it does look super muscular and massive in a lot of the pictures that we see, it might not be a good balance. We don't know. But whereas with Tonio, you look at him and you can tell his physique is very balanced, very proportional, and just very complete. And when you look at Tonio, you can't have a conversation where you're saying, oh, he needs to make his upper body match his lower body, or make his lower body match his upper body, make his back match his front. He's just very complete all around. And I think that's where the comparisons to Tonio and Dexter Jackson really come from. And having these super freaky, standout, crazy body parts like GoodVito has with his legs, it might be good in pictures, but it's not necessarily good in competition. So we'll see what happens. And I think there's no denying he's a freak at the end of the day, but we'll see what happens at the show. I think it's very interesting. And by the way, Raphael did not get up and pose with these guys. So we don't really know exactly how he's looking right now. Now, another guy that I wanted to mention here, I mentioned him a few videos back, maybe last week. He's a Brazilian bodybuilder competing in the Classic Physique Pro portion of this show. And a lot of people are talking about him because he's got really crazy proportions. He's got pretty damn good legs, really small waist, and a pretty good V-taper with his lats from the front. Really just overall very aesthetic, classic guy. And a lot of people are looking forward to see how he does here because he does have such a great shape to his physique. His username is Levino Pro, and this is him at 3 days out from competing. I'm pretty impressed with the shape that this guy has. He might not be as muscular as a guy like a Wesley or a Ramon or a C-Bum, but a really pleasing physique. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Terrence Ruffin. He looks like he might be a shorter guy, not one of the bigger, heavier classic guys. But there's absolutely no doubt that he has a very, very aesthetically pleasing physique, and I'm excited to see how he does here. Especially now that we know, now that the competitor list is out, and there's no really big names. There's no Wesley, there's no Breon, there's no Urs. So this might be an opportunity for somebody like this guy to come in, win, get an Olympia qualification, and we'll see how he does at the O. I can definitely appreciate the hype with him, though. He is a very impressive-looking bodybuilder. He's a very impressive classic guy, and he has all these, attributes that you really want to see in a classic physique competitor. The waist is crazy. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, next up in the news, we also have the confirmed lineup so far for the biggest guest posing event of the year, which is Jim Mannion's Pittsburgh Pro. They always have a crazy guest posing lineup. So they put out a promotional poster with the names of the guys that they've got competing. So we're going to see Hunter Labrada, Samson Dauda, Big Ramy, Derek Lunsford, Nick Walker, Andrew Jacked, and it says special appearance by Chris Bumstead, so maybe he's not going to pose with him, although that would be pretty cool to see. So I think it'll be cool to see Big Ramy. It's going to be cool to see your current Mr. Olympia, Derek Lunsford. But the interesting thing about this is 1 week prior to the New York Pro. So you're going to get a sneak peek of Nick Walker before he steps on stage at the New York Pro just 1 week in advance. So kind of a cool preview of what Nick is looking like right before he looks to take away that title from Tonio Burton and earn his qualification for the 2024 Mr. Olympia. So I think it's pretty cool that Nick agreed to do that. I don't think there's too many guys that would do a guest posing a week out from a show like that. And speaking of Nick Walker, we did get a physique update from him today. So we're about a month and a half out now from the New York Pro, which is going to be May 18th. And Nick Walker posted up this most muscular today, and he says his caption on this was, "It was over before it began," showing off his current physique at about 6 weeks out. And I'll be honest here, I'll give a little criticism because the first thing that really stood out to me when I looked at this was his quads. To me, it was kind of weird. I don't know if it's the lighting or the angle or what, but his quads look really washed out in this picture. You don't see really any deep lines, any deep separation. I mean, they look, decently sized. But for 6 weeks out, he's getting pretty close to the show. And I just felt like the level of separation in his quads didn't really look like it was there. And maybe he just had a leg day and his quads are really pumped and really full and not showing crazy definition. I don't know. But that was what really jumped out to me because obviously his upper body looks tremendously freaky. Most muscular is a crazy shot for him. Probably one of the best most musculars, next to a guy like Hadi Chupin in the IFBB. crazy round, full, vascular upper body. And to me, in this shot, the quads just weren't matching that. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know your honest opinion. So I thought it was cool to get to see. We're going to have a preview of Nick Walker a week before New York. And we're about to get a preview of Tonio here at the Arnold Classic South America this weekend. So we're going to get an idea of what both these guys are looking like before they step on stage in New York. And imagine, I mean, if Tonio wins this show, it's a big win for him. That's a lot of momentum going into the New York. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Tonio has a chance at winning this Arnold Classic South America this weekend? And then who do you think is going to win the New York Pro? But speaking of the New York Pro, another guy that I want to talk about here that's doing the New York show is BeefStu. So he posted some updates here recently that I thought actually were really impressive. His most muscular shot in this update in particular, he looks like he's put on a pretty significant amount of size since the last time that we saw him. And he's another guy that I feel like, being a newer pro, he could be one of these younger guys that rises through the ranks relatively quickly because he's got a really good amount of size looking at this update, and he's got a good structure. I really like his front double bicep. He's got a small waist. He can kind of pull a vacuum in that pose. Kind of a more, even though he's got so much size, he's kind of an aesthetic guy. And he looks like he's actually in really good shape here. And to my point about Nick, even though, granted, Stu doesn't have as big of legs as Nick has, it almost looks like his legs are more separated than Nick's are. You can see a little bit more deeper lines around that teardrop in the quads. And they're both 6 weeks out in these pictures. But I would say that's also my one critique for BeefStu is he's got so much size in the upper body. He's one of the guys that his legs look like they need to come up a little bit to match that. But I'm really impressed with these updates from him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the top placers, maybe a first call-out guy at the New York Pro. And again, we still don't know exactly who all else is doing it. I mean, we're still over a month away from getting the official competitor list, so you could have more guys jump in there. And I think you could possibly see guys, from this Arnold Classic South America or from the Detroit Pro. Maybe the guys that don't win will go on to do the New York Pro, try to get that qualification. I just think these are going to be some really exciting shows. Now, speaking of the Detroit Pro, they made an announcement today about the prize money. Well, about the prize money and a couple other things. So the prize money for first place is a pretty impressive $25,000, which is higher than the standard in pro shows. Second place, $10,000, and third place, $5,000. Now, the caption on this post says, bodybuilders have been complaining about backdrops, lighting, and prize money for decades. We're doing our part to try to give them what they want. These are the top 3 prizes for the IFBB portion of the show. The second slide is the medals for the NPC News Online portion of the show. Then he tags Hostile and thanks Hostile, Accent Sledge, and Uprising Extracts for the sponsorship. So, again, like we've been discussing with, the Arnold raising their prize money, I'm sure that's going to force the Olympia to raise their prize money. These new, sponsorship packages that the IFBB Pro League has been getting, this, $200,000 something for Classic, $200,000 to apply to Men's Open, and they're increasing the minimum prize money for first and second across the board. A lot of steps are being made in the right direction in the IFBB, and I think the prize money push is a big one. I think it's great for the athletes. I think this is exactly what needs to happen, and just a really positive time for bodybuilding right now. I think there's big changes being made for the better. I mean, I don't know who doesn't want to see the prize money increase across the board for all the bodybuilders. It's just nothing but a net positive overall. I'm really excited to see it. I'm happy for the bodybuilders that they're getting paid more fairly. So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NickStrengthPower. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.